Hello guys and welcome to iHOTSu, a channel where I try to teach you how to HOTS. And today is the third episode of our map guide series. We are going to take a look at one of the most PvE oriented maps in Heroes of the Storm, Skytemple. And as always in this series, we are going to take a look at the map first. Skytemple is one of the biggest 3-lane maps in the game. It has 1 watchtower, 5 mercenary camps and 3 temples. I'm going to start off with the mercenary camps. There are 2 bruiser camps between the top lane and the mid lane, 2 sea giant camps between the mid lane and the bot lane, and almost in the center of the map there is a boss, also called the throw pit, but I'm going to talk about the boss later on in this guide. The 2 bruiser camps will always push in the top lane, while the 2 sea giant camps plus the boss will always push in the bot lane. This means that on Skytemple there will never be a mercenary camp pushing in the middle lane. The most important features on Skytemple are the temples. They're situated in the middle axis of the map, 1 north, 1 middle and 1 south. 1 minute and 30 seconds after the start of the game, the first temples will appear. The first temples are the one at the top lane and the one at the mid lane. 2 minutes after the last shots of the last active temple, the second temple phase will start. At the second temple phase, there is only 1 temple that will be active, the bottom one. Until the 7th temple phase, all temples will activate randomly. This means that you will never know which temple activates. Once you are at the 7th temple phase, the 3 temples will activate all together. This will continue until the end of the game, which shouldn't be too far off at that moment. And now I'm going to talk about the strategy that you should use on this map. When I talk about strategy, the first thing I think about is lane division. Which and how many heroes should be put on which lanes. Now Skytemple is a little bit different to all the other maps. The first temples spawn at the top and at the mid lane, which means that you should put your lone hero at the bottom lane. It should be a very mobile hero like Falstad, for example, who can quickly fly to the middle or the top of the map. The bottom lane is also the longest lane. This is why it is also better to put a very mobile hero to gather a maximum amount of experience in the early game. The 4 remaining heroes should be split equally on the 2 remaining lanes. Because of the fact in the early game you know which temple is going to activate, you should be aware of when to move towards it. If you have a more mobile hero, you can gather a maximum amount of experience before moving towards it. If your hero is a bit more slow and sluggish, you should move a bit earlier than the rest of your team. In the early game, hero kills are not that important. You should really try and maximize the amount of experience you can get from minions on your lane. At the first temple phase, you should only try and go for 1 temple. It is by far the safest thing to do. Now I'm going to talk about the boss on Skytemple, which is also very often called the throw pit. Even in very high competitive play, people throw their games away at this particular place on Skytemple. They have a lead, try to go for the boss to extend their lead, but didn't notice that they will not get enough time to kill the boss without the other team noticing it. The other team comes in, gets a full wipe and steals the boss away. This is where the whole game can turn around and could snowball very fast. You immediately realize that there's only going to be one particular moment where you should try and go for the boss. If you're more heroes than your opponent and you're sure that you can take the boss quick and safely enough, then you can try and go for it. Otherwise it is too dangerous, risky and you can lose the game at that particular spot. Now I'm going to give you some tips that could increase your chances of winning on this map. 1. If you're a talent behind, don't try to contest the temple. Take mercenary camps and soak lanes to close the gap in experience. 2. Vision can help you a lot on this map. This is why heroes like Zagara with her creep tumors and Abathur with his mines can really help you out. 3. Some heroes take more value on Skytemple than on other maps for their zoning abilities. Gazlow's turrets and Surgeon's Hammer's siege mode can be really helpful in tempo fights. 4. Picking a hero that has a mule talent on level 7 can buy you more time. You can heal up your structures again to last longer. This is the end of the 3rd episode of Map Guides. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later for the next episode.